NBA playoffs are in full swing, and every night delivers highlight-worthy performances, major momentum shifts, and can't-miss moments. Whether it's a game-winning shot or a breakout player, there's never been a better time to get in on the action. FanDuel makes it easy to stay in the game before tip-off and live. With player props, performance trends, and same-game parlays, fans have more ways than ever to play smart and win big. Like today on Hump Day, they're giving you a 30% boost on all your bets. Make sure you check that out. New to FanDuel, it's perfect time to sign up. Head over to FanDuel.com/UCSS and place your first $5 bet. If it wins, you'll get $200 in bonus bets. Make every moment more with FanDuel, official sports betting partner of the NBA.
Guys, every Cleveland sports fan knows heartbreak, right? If you grew up in this town, if you moved to this town, if you followed the teams in this town, the fans that root for the Cleveland teams are as hardened and toughened a fan base as there can be, because they've seen it all, they've watched it all, their hearts have been pulled out, stepped on, and crushed time and time again. And Jason, Mikey, this is another one to the list. This is an all-time bad loss.
It's one of the worst that I can recall. All things considered. I mean, my first thought was 2018 Game 1 when JR forgot to score.
God, yeah.
I mean, we all know the fumble to drive the shot.
Sure.
But even in more recent history, obviously the Indians in 2016, the rain delay and losing Game 7. But last night ranks up there with a 7-point lead in the final minute. You can't lose that game. Minute. Yeah. Playing Game 2 at home with a chance to even the series and make it a series again, and now you've sort of rejuvenated yourselves.
Right.
You've gathered yourselves together.
Give a chance to the guys to come back, maybe.
They pushed all in last night on a game that they very clearly felt like they had to win, and to lose that game is devastating. It's one of the worst losses I can recall. It's only the second round. It's not a championship round. But still, given where they were at, given how good of a season this was, given the expectations for this year, to be wrecked with injuries at this point, throw it all in the pot and boil it at one time, it was devastating.
Is it the worst non-finals loss in franchise history, you think?
Is it worse than the shot?
Is it worse than the shot?
The shot, yeah.
No, again.
Since the shot. That's a long time ago.
Since the shot.
Yeah.
Yeah, since the shot, for sure.
To me, and Jason and I did a whole Cavs show this morning. I didn't realize he was on the show with us today. So if you want to hear 40 more minutes when all the Cavs stuff we talked about, we did this 2 hours ago.
Yeah, but we're going
to do some different
That was a nuts and bolts breakdown we probably won't get to.
Last night, in a way, as Jason was talking about that, it just kind of came to me. It's almost a microcosm of the whole season in a way. The Cavs did everything right in the lead up to the playoffs to keep guys healthy, keep minutes low, be as healthy as possible for the playoff run, sit guys down the stretch, not overexert themselves, only to, in game one, have all these things go wrong, and now you have three key players on the injury report. For 47 minutes last night, the Cavs did almost everything right. Almost. The first quarter was an immaculate defensive effort. Mm-hmm. Donovan Mitchell put on one of the most heroic offensive performances I can remember in recent modern NBA history. He scored 48 points and made 1 3. Mm-hmm. In today's day and age of threes, how do you score 48 points making only 1 3? Even Jokic, a center, is making more threes. Donovan's
been awful from three.
He's shooting under 25% since March 1st. The calf injury is legit, and that's what makes what he did last night even that more impressive. And then to be up 7 points in the final minute. And we could go play-by-play if we want. We could talk big picture. So many things had to go wrong for Cleveland and then right for Indiana in succession. If any one of those two things, there's about 12 different plays.
Right.
Cleveland does something bad, Indiana does something good. Two different circumstances. If any one of those things doesn't happen, Cleveland's heading to Indiana tied 1-1. But all 6 things that had to go wrong for Cleveland and all 6 things that had to go right for Indiana in succession happened. And it just feels like a gut punch, a demoralizing defeat that isn't going to necessarily end the series. It's 2-0. It's not impossible.
Oh, let's stop it. It's ended the series.
I would not pick Cleveland to come back, but I'm just saying it has happened. The home team has lost first 2. I'm just saying it's not impossible.
With all the injuries combined.
But it's going to be incredibly hard, and I don't know how you rebound and pick yourself off the floor from a game where you put everything you had on the table, and it still wasn't enough.
The shot was worse. I was thinking about that.
Yeah,
the shot was worse because it ended the series.
Yes, right.
This did not.
No. I mean, these last few days we were on such a high after that Heat game, after that Heat sweep, and we acknowledging that the Heat are terrible, or not terrible, but they're not very.
No, they sucked.
Even with Darius's injury, we were riding high with our confidence because you're like, okay, Darius will be back soon. Indiana's good, but they're not that good. And then everything that could go wrong has gone wrong these last 2 games for the Cavs. And I think what's really stood out to me, guys, is they are just not physical enough. And maybe you think I'm making a mountain out of a molehill. They got injuries. Donovan Mitchell, it's funny because I was at the Little League field last night. I was talking to my friend Chris, who's the offensive coordinator at Rocky River football team. And he goes, what do you think about the Cavs tonight? I said, Donovan's got to get 50 to win, for them to win. He needed 50 for them to win. If he would have had 50, I'm not blaming him.
We did the topic yesterday. Does that have to be a legacy game for Donovan Mitchell?
It had to be.
And it was.
And they still lost.
Yeah.
But look at this. He was getting the shit beat out of him the entire game. Was there one player on the Cavs? Jared Allen, Max Strus, Ty Jerome, Dean Wade, Isaac Okoro. Did anybody at some point go up to one of the Heat players and throw an elbow, knock somebody on their ass? Stop beating up our best player. We're going to do something about it. No, because they're a soft-ass team. Let's face it. They were a soft-ass team last year. We ignored it because they played great this year, and they're soft again. And that's why they got beat up. That's why they're hurt when the intensity is ratcheted up, and they did nothing to back Donovan Mitchell. I know a couple of guys had played well, fine, okay. Ty Jerome sucked. He was just horrible in this game.
He's very bad.
But there's no toughness and physicality. And you said, well, everything went wrong. And you're right. But part of the reason everything went wrong is because they weren't tough enough, this team. How do you let guys fly from half court to get a rebound and put it back? How do you give up? How do you give up an offensive rebound to Tyrese Haliburton at the end of the game when he's shooting the free throw? What is Max Strus doing on that inbound pass?
I put that more on Ty than Max.
We break down some of these?
Yes.
I have actually some of the plays.
You didn't think it was a lazy pass by Max?
It was, but it's more on Ty.
It's more on Ty than it is on Max.
Okay, it's both of them.
Yeah.
It's unacceptable.
The physicality thing is real. And
yes.
You're right. And it's been a concern. The Knicks beat them up 2 years ago.
Yes, they did.
And pushed them out of the playoffs.
Orlando, even though they beat Orlando, they were physical with them.
I'll say real quick, because you weren't there the first quarter, and I know you were at the Little League game for the first.
Yeah.
That first 12 minutes, seriously, the first 12 minutes, it was as physical as Cleveland
But that's
played
not good enough.
I'm just
Yeah.
They had 7 guys yesterday.
Yeah.
Playoff minutes are not regular season minutes.
Yeah.
One play, it's like dog years. One playoff minute's like 3. Merrill, Okoro, they played more minutes. And I'm not, this could sound like an excuse. I'm giving you a little reality and a little context. They played more minutes than they were accustomed. In that last 2-3 minutes of the fourth quarter, those guys were legitimately gassed. And we could argue, were they gassed because they didn't play enough minutes in the regular season to be ready to withstand that level of intensity for that prolonged period? I'll have that argument. We could go back and forth.
I don't think.
But they were legitimately gassed at the end.
That's not why they were gassed, and there's no excuse for anybody.
That is why they were gassed. Why else do you think they'd be gassed?
You think they were gassed because they didn't play enough during the regular season?
No, I'm saying we could have that debate of whether did they not play enough to be in a situation. So, hey, Dean, you got to play 35 minutes.
Yeah,
now.
I don't know. I don't buy that. But to me, no. Outside of Donovan Mitchell, nobody's got an excuse to be gassed at the end of that game.
I'm not disagreeing.
They've played less basketball than anybody. There's no reason to be gassed.
I'm not giving an excuse. I'm telling you that was the situation.
Well, Kenny said last night his one regret is that he didn't go to his bench more. He didn't play his bench more last night. I think that's – I disagree with that. I think he did it the right way.
Yeah.
If you go to – Ty Jerome's having an awful night. If you go to Craig Porter Jr., they're not going to guard him either. No one's going to pay attention.
That's right.
Donovan was playing 2-on-5 for the last 4 minutes of that game.
Yes.
It was Donovan and Max Strus and 3 dudes standing around.
Right.
That's it.
And the Pacers were swarming Donovan every time we touched the ball because they had no fear of Isaac Okoro. They had no fear of Dean Wade.
Right.
Max was a threat.
Yes.
But that was it. So that's why they were gassed, because they were literally 2 guys carrying the load for everybody else. And yes, Dean grabbed 10 rebounds. He was a 0 again on the offensive side of the ball. And in the playoffs, if you're not making shots, you can't be on the floor.
That's right.
But because of the Cavs situation where they're at with the injuries and who was available and who wasn't, you had Isaac Okoro bringing the ball up the floor.
Yeah.
At the end of the game, and the last few minutes of the fourth, I was watching that going, oh my
absurd.
God in heaven, how did we get here?
Yes.
Yeah.
So was he? I'm not.
And despite all of that, they still should have won the game.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm not trying to make an excuse. I'm just trying to give a little reality to the situation. Now, when you mentioned that one play with Strus,
Yeah.
do you want to start with that one?
The inbounds pass?
Inbounds pass?
Yeah. By the
Because-
way, when Strus did hit the 3 to go up 7, like, was there any doubt in your mind they were going to win the game?
Yes.
There was?
I thought, I mean, if you made me pick right then,
Yeah.
okay, they're going to win.
Right.
But was there no, there wasn't any
Yeah.
doubt. I mean,
Hand up, I walked downstairs to set up for a post-game stream.
Yeah, you did.
And I watched the end on the Jumbotron behind 30 heads because I thought the game was over.
Yeah.
And I was wrong. I was wrong.
All right, go ahead. Show us this play.
If you want to take Telestrator, Steve, here. This is the
Illustrator full.
inbounds play. They're up 3.
Yeah.
Strus is inbounding the ball.
Yep.
The concept of this play, they ran this exact same play multiple times throughout the regular season. And Jason and I were sitting next to each other earlier in the season in the game against Boston.
Yeah.
Late in the fourth quarter, when they needed to inbound the ball up by 3 or 4, they
Right.
ran the same play, and Ty Jerome was George Niang.
Yeah.
Now against Boston, George Niang got the pass, got fouled, made the free throws, game over, they win.
Yeah. By the way, the only reason, correct me if I'm wrong, the only reason they had to inbound from the side is because they had to call timeout to get Donovan back in the game.
and
right?
because they couldn't get the ball in.
Both are true at the same time.
Right.
They
Yes,
had to burn
yeah.
2 timeouts just to get
Right.
the ball inbounded. They couldn't
Which
get the ball
eventually
in
led
last
to them
night.
not being able to challenge at the end, too.
Later.
I mean, Mike can point this
Yeah.
out, but one of the things, we talked about this on the show this morning, one of the things I've been talking about, how many times have I said coaching matters in the playoffs? You've got to be able to, what's your best ATO? What's
Right.
your best inbounds play? What are you
Yeah.
going to go to when you got to get a bucket? What do you go to? And for as great as Kenny has been this year, and he earned Coach of the Year and everything else, I didn't think he was up to the moment. When you can't get the ball inbounds,
Yeah.
when
Yeah.
you have to keep calling timeout just to get the ball inbounds,
No excuse. Yeah, that's
that
terrible.
part of that is coaching.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this was the inbounds play. They
All right,
ran
go
the
ahead. Let's
exact
see
same
this.
play against Boston. I'm going to let it play through, and then I'll circle what I was showing. But Steve, let's take this in Telestrator. This is the play that gives Indiana a chance. Nembhard swims right around Ty Jerome, comes down, they get the
Go
ball.
back again. Okay.
So here's the premise of the play. I'll restart this from the very
Yeah.
beginning. Donovan, it picks up from NBA.com. There's a little screen here by Jared Allen, this
Okay.
is Jared Allen.
Yeah.
Sam Merrill's going to the corner to clear out. Essentially, you're trying to create a one-on-one in 2 different spots. Donovan's coming to the corner here.
Yeah.
If he has a step on Neesmith, that's the pass. Donovan's option 1. If Donovan's not open, you're going to get Ty Jerome boxing out a guy in this position. They're going to end up coming down here. Ty's going to seal him. You're throwing the ball into a position. It's like a jump ball in football, a fade in the end zone. You throw into a spot, trusting your offensive player to get there. So as this
Risky
goes
in
through,
this situation, but go ahead.
as this goes through, Donovan, who has played 37 minutes, whatever, at this point, on a tough calf, he has no necessary leverage on Aaron Neesmith as he's coming to the corner. That's a risky pass to make. With Haliburton standing in front of you, you can't really bounce it. Do you have a good angle without lobbing it? Strus doesn't like that angle. So as this goes through, this is what Max Strus sees. And I wish we could erase Donovan and Neesmith from the picture, but look at Ty Jerome with Nembhard on his back right there, Bull.
I see.
That's a seal.
All right.
Strus is throwing to a spot.
Right.
He says,
Where's
Ty,
he supposed to throw the ball to? Like the free throw line, basically?
somewhere in this area.
Okay.
Ty puts his hand up, like a post feed, basically.
Right.
Hit my hand. This
Yeah.
is Myles Garrett sitting here in the white sweatshirt, right, by the way. And I point that
I
out.
was like, why is he talking about Myles
I
Garrett?
point that out for an exact reason. When this is the situation you're in, and you have a defender on your back like this,
Yeah.
you have to hold him off.
Right.
Right? Like this is I trust you to be there.
Who's
I'm
the
throwing to a
defender? I
spot.
can't think of it.
It's Nembhard, who's a
Oh,
good defender.
Right. Yeah.
Watch the swim move Nembhard puts on Ty Jerome here. This is a Myles Garrett approved move for the easy steal. There was absolutely no resistance from Ty Jerome here to stop this swim move around. As the ball is midair, this is the ball right here.
Right.
Nembhard already has inside position.
Yeah, it's over
Completely,
right there.
it's over. Completely Olaze.
But that just seems like a crazy play call. Because that ball's just floating up in the air.
He has a defender in his face, Bull. Tyrese Haliburton standing right in front of him, so you can't
Yeah.
bounce past it. You can't throw it straight. You have
And they were out of timeouts.
out of timeouts.
Yeah.
You can see right here, literally says 0 timeouts
yeah,
on your
yeah.
screen. Mitchell's coming through. That's the play.
You don't think that's a lazy pass?
How else do you deliver that pass with someone standing literally right in your face, Bull? I'm genuinely asking, how else do you deliver that pass? What is supposed? You can't bounce
Can
it.
you have more of a line drive, like a low line drive than a
Do you see
floater?
Halliburton's 2 hands sitting right here? That looks like
yeah,
something
I
I
hear
shouldn't
you.
draw. I mean, I'm being honest though. Like
All right, so Ty Jerome.
This is to me. This is way more on Ty than it is on Max. I don't love the pass. Like I think he lobs it a little too much. But when you have you on your back like that, Bull, you're saying Ty that is your ball. Like you have to go get the damn. It's
now
a rebound.
after you've broken it down like this, I'm going to blame the coach more than either of the players.
And that's fine.
Because yes, Ty Jerome gets a move put on him, but that's hard. You're playing against a very physical player. You got to keep him on your hip for a decent amount of time there. That's not easy to do. A throw into a spot in that situation, I mean, that seems like too risky a play there.
Well, and this goes back to what Kenny said after the game, that they couldn't create separation. These guys were exhausted, and they couldn't get separation.
But why are the non-Donovan Mitchell players exhausted? Why? What have they done all game?
Well, I think part of it is what Mike said earlier.
Yeah.
It's the intensity of playoff minutes is different. I agree with you. I mean, I think he ran the same group for the last 5 minutes. There was a little bit of subbing,
basically. There's
offense, defense.
Well, Ty Jerome had just come in the game. He had been sitting for a bit.
No, they ran they subbed with like 5 minutes left and basically ran that group.
Right.
If he subbed in, it's because they were doing an offense-defense flip possession. But for the most part, that group rolled for the last 4 or 5 minutes of the game.
Right, but I think he sat until that 5-minute mark. Didn't he sit for a good chunk of the fourth quarter, Ty?
He said,
I don't know.
It was a bad game from Ty. Like, everything he did was wrong.
I don't want to hear that he's exhausted. You're supposed to be a finely tuned athlete.
Yeah, I mean,
He's done nothing this whole game. Donovan's the only one that's got an excuse being tired, in my opinion.
And Donovan played 36 minutes, I think.
Yeah.
I think it was around 36.
Darius played 39. That was the most.
And again, that's a lot of minutes. But, I mean, we've seen guys play 48
but
in a game like
Donovan's had to have guys, like 2 guys on him every freaking play.
Yeah.
Ty Jerome,
no one's giving Ty a pass. Like, I hope that's not coming across as us giving a pass.
No, it's not. It was a good explanation. You're right. I blamed Strus, and you guys are right. It's probably not his fault as much. It's just
he's at blame. I don't think he's.
I just don't know how you turn the ball over there.
No, it's brutal. And the play before.
Let me ask you guys a question. The play where the 2 guys came streaking in to get the rebound.
The putback dunk.
Right.
Yeah, we have.
Do you think they missed that shot on purpose?
No.
Okay.
Missing a free throw. So, Steve, we have this one on Telestra if you want to play it.
If you miss it on purpose, it's a line drive off the front of the rim that caroms right back.
It's just they know he's not a great free throw shooter, and they just plan to do it.
You're crashing because, God forbid, he misses. But I mean, look at this ball.
I mean, that was such a smart play.
It's going to happen. It's going to replay like 3 times here.
Yeah. Donovan was you could tell he's got nothing left there.
Well, he tries to grab his jersey and misses.
Because he couldn't stay with him physically.
It was technically a lane violation. They're not going to call it there. I don't want to hear anyone complain. But the way this caroms off the glass or off the rim, right into where Nesmith happens to be charging.
Yeah.
It's a 1 in a 1,000 chance.
That was an amazing play.
Look how this hits the rim. Usually you miss a free throw, it ricochets off the rim 4, 5, 6 out.
I know.
It just sits there. It
just came off enough for it to not be goaltending or basket interference.
It's a great play by Nesmith.
By the way, I know you're saying it's not an excuse. I don't want to hear about a lane violation. There's probably a million lane violations on every free throw. Nobody's paying attention to it.
Well, if you want to laugh at something real quick, this is Steve. Take Telstrator again. So this is clearly a lane violation, right?
Yeah.
So is this.
And so is that.
So is this.
Yeah, exactly.
And so is this. It's a lane.
Everybody's a lane.
So that's what I'm saying. People complaining about it.
Yeah, it's.
You're right. It was a lane violation.
Yeah.
It 100% was, but it also technically was on Okoro and Jared Allen here.
Yeah.
On Max Strus here, on Ty Jerome
here.
So
every Cavs player besides Donovan Mitchell committed a lane violation.
And if you really want to get crazy, Donovan's foot's over the line. So, like you're right. It is a lane violation, but I just don't want to hear people.
Those are. I mean, that happens all the time. I'm sure. Nobody's.
And you can see in this still shot, Donovan's grabbing Nesmith, which is also, if you really want to get technical, a foul.
Yeah. And he got fouled on the dunk, didn't he?
It's an incredibly athletic.
Yeah. That was an amazing play.
And you couldn't the Pacers could try that 100 more times.
Yeah, right.
And it ain't gonna happen like that. Like you could see it again here. It's just an incredible unlucky play or an incredibly lucky play for Indiana, but it happens to go to the perfect spot as he's flying in.
And he got fouled on that dunk, I thought, which they didn't call.
Yeah, it sucks.
Watch this
for the Cavs.
Strus fouls him, or not Strus? Who's behind? Oh, Donovan. Donovan actually fouled him twice, I think.
I think that's more of just the result of the
Poor
I don't think he
Donovan.
fouled him on the.
You know what? If they had won this game, we would have been spending the last 20 minutes talking about this Donovan performance.
Hero performance.
I mean, he was unreal. He was unreal.
On a bad
getting
calf.
a three.
On a bad calf.
Bad calf. Doesn't he have 2 injuries?
It's a calf ankle lower leg combo.
I mean,
I don't know the severity of it. Again, Mike and I were talking about this
Yeah.
this morning. I don't know the severity of the calf. If anyone should be sitting, it's probably Donovan, because calf injuries can lead to far worse.
Yeah.
right.
It can lead to Achilles.
Well, my Achilles tear, obviously he's a great athlete, I'm not, but body's a body, I guess, at some level. My torn Achilles started with a calf injury.
Kevin Durant.
Yeah,
Kevin
right,
Durant
right,
was
right,
The
yeah.
calf try to come back, try to fight through, and ends up tearing his Achilles. Gosh. So if anyone of these guys should be sitting,
Yeah.
it's probably Donovan.
Which he's not.
And he's the
And
one
he's
that's
not-
out there.
He said he's playing Friday. You're going to have to wheel me out of.
Who do you think's going to play Friday of the other guys?
I think Mobley. I hope they all play. I genuinely
Well,
hope they all play.
The season's on the line.
Yeah, you better. If there's any chance, you better suit up. You better be.
I mean,
in
Darius has
uniform.
gotten his 2 weeks now. Today's 2 weeks.
I thought Darius would play yesterday.
Yeah, I know you did.
I was really surprised he didn't play.
Jared Greenberg, who's coming on the show tomorrow.
Yeah.
The sideline for
guy.
TNT.
Yeah.
Said he saw Darius in game 1 after the game, and Darius told him I'm playing game 2.
The impression I got leaving the locker room after game 1 was that Darius was
Yeah.
going to play in game 2.
Yeah.
The fact he didn't play, I'm shocked.
Yeah.
Can you show the Haliburton missed free throw and then he gets his rebound and
I
scores?
got it ready. Yeah, Steve, you want to take
I'd like to
telestrator?
see that one.
So this is a showing and upstairs. Another crazy circumstance where 3
Yeah.
players, Donovan, Turner, and Allen, are all going to make contact with the ball at the exact same time. And somehow, because all 3 of these guys don't get a full hand, they all get fingertips
Yeah.
on it, it's
See,
going to end up in Haliburton's hands.
I put this on Jarrett, and then with the way Mike played it, it's almost on Donovan for interfering, but you're not going to tell a guy don't go
Yeah.
for a rebound.
Right.
And
yeah.
But
who-
I still say Jarrett's got to come up with this ball.
well, here's the other thing.
Yeah.
You don't see Ty Jerome in the picture. Ty Jerome's technically out in this area.
Who's the 5th player?
Jerome, who's out here.
No, but that's 4. Who's the 5th?
That's 5.
That's Sam Merrill's 5.
Oh, I'm
two.
sorry. Okay. I got you.
Jerome,
Okay.
his assignment is Haliburton. If anyone is actually at fault, I hate to put another thing on Ty. It's on Ty. When we play this through, you'll see what I'm saying.
Okay.
I'm going to pause this at the apex.
He's supposed to, the second the ball is shot, run and pick up Haliburton.
And he'll come in. He just
Yeah.
doesn't get Haliburton. I'm going to pause this at the apex to show you guys something. So as this goes through,
He kind of lazily jogged towards Haliburton.
that's fine. He's in the right spot at this
Yeah.
point. I was here. Let me try. I'm a little too far. Let me try to
Yeah.
pause this at the exact moment I wanted to pause it. It's close enough. I wish I could zoom in on this. I can't zoom in.
Yeah.
You can see if you really zoom in. Mitchell goes up with one hand. That's
Yeah.
his arm. That's the white arm sleeve you see. Here's Jared Allen's 2 hands, and that's Miles' hands. All 3 hands hit the ball at the exact same time. Donovan's going up with one hand to try and grab a rebound. He grabbed 2
Yeah.
one-handed rebounds in the game. Allen actually does a relatively good job of play it again, boxing out Miles Turner, has him on his back. Like that's real contact.
Yeah.
He gets a little pushed in, but that's fair. That's fair game in the playoffs. And the ball ends up, because all 3 hit it at the same time,
You know,
falling
he
to
had
Haliburton.
he
No one-
boxed out Miles Turner,
no
but
one
then he
gets-
got pushed.
No one gets a hand on it is the issue.
I know.
They all get a finger
But to
on it.
Jason's point, you said you blame Jared Allen.
Jarrett's got to come up with that.
Like he's got him boxed out. You can't let him push you in
And-
closer to the basket.
Well, I'm curious, if Donovan doesn't touch this,
Right.
does Jared grab it?
Why don't you run it
if-
through the whole time?
If Jared doesn't touch it, does Donovan grab it?
It's
Do
hard to
they
say.
almost counteract where they're going in?
And again,
And here it is. I got it at the perfect point. Steve, can you try to zoom in on this on the screen? Is that's possible? Can you zoom in on that exact spot?
and you're not going to blame Donovan for being aggressive and going
No,
after
no,
him.
certainly
not at all.
But
Oh, look at that.
I do wonder if
All
Donovan,
3 hands at the exact same time touching the ball. There's Donovan, there's Miles, and behind Donovan's arm, here's one of Jared's arms. This is the other one.
I think you're right. I think no blame on Mitchell because he's going for the ball.
No
But
blame whatsoever.
If he didn't hit it, I think there's a decent chance Jared Allen gets the ball.
I still listen. You're Jared Allen. You're
Yeah, you
7
gotta
feet
get it.
tall.
You gotta get it,
You've
yeah.
got
You gotta get the
position.
ball.
You have to get the ball.
You gotta get
So
it.
unlucky, Kareem's out to Haliburton, and I'll show one last time.
Yeah.
Ty, who once again ties with Haliburton right here.
Yeah.
Go find the ball. You got to get the ball. Got to get the ball.
Can you show me that again?
There he is. Ball's going up. It's about to get careened. He's in front of Haliburton right here.
Yeah.
Got to find a way to get the ball there. I know it takes an unlucky bounce, but your job is to be in front of Haliburton. Find it, and then the last play, the final shot.
Yeah. I mean, how much do you blame him for this defense?
It's a great move by Haliburton.
Yeah.
So give Haliburton
But
credit.
you can't give up a three.
You're up 2
You can't
with 5
give
seconds.
up a three.
That's the issue.
If he drives to the basket and he beats you, there's help down low, and at worst, it's a tie game.
And Haliburton's left wrist was hurting him all game. Was holding it all game. Steve, take it again. Which direction is he going when he starts to drive?
To the right.
No, to the left.
Oh, I see.
Let him go. He wasn't trying to finish with his left hand through traffic. Let him go. You got him.
Right.
Don't let him get back to his right hand.
Yeah.
It's a great move by Haliburton.
And again, if he drives, great play by Haliburton.
And if he makes
if
it
he
two,
drives,
yeah,
you have help defense
If he
potentially.
drives, he's probably going to kick to the corner to a wide open shooter.
Yeah, all right, fair.
and they were open in the corners, which I.
But isn't Haliburton the last guy you want taking a three if you're the Cavs?
You want to hear a crazy stat I saw
Yes.
this morning?
Yeah.
This season, the final 2 minutes of games, on go-ahead or game-tying shots, Haliburton's 10 of 11 this year.
No shit.
10 of 11.
I thought you were going to shock me the other way.
No. 10 of 11 on shots in the final 2
I
minutes.
can't let him take a three.
No, it's the only thing you can't let happen.
If you go through the list of 20 shots I can give up in this situation, the last thing is Haliburton three.
Yeah.
And Ty Jerome, who just capped off what was a John Starks-esque game, for those who remember back in the day, if you know, you know, was just... Did he cost... Last thing before we move on here, guys, and we'll get back to the Cavs later. Did this one game last night cost Ty Jerome money this offseason?
Absolutely.
See, I don't think it did.
No? Mike says absolutely.
I
You
think
say
it did.
no?
I think because the Cavs have no choice but to pay him. They have to pay him.
Right,
It
but-
may cost him offers from other teams.
Yeah.
yeah.
But
Not the
ultimately-
Cavs. Yeah.
but ultimately,
right, but the
it's not gonna
assumption was
cost
that
him.
some team would offer him more than the Cavs could.
Ultimately, I don't think it's going to cost him because the Cavs have no choice.
Agreed. You can't make any significant changes.
This is who they are for the next 2 years.
Right.
This is their team. They're a second apron team.
Yeah.
They're not going to make any drastic changes. This
Right.
is their team. So,
But you agree that his chances of getting a big deal from somebody else may be gone.
yeah, I mean, this series has been awful.
He's been terrible
For
in these
him.
2 games.
I
So
think.
you hate for 2 games to overshadow everything else.
But the playoffs overshadow everything.
It's the Sam Darnold. It's Sam Darnold.
Yeah, although he got, he
And
got
he
signed,
got paid, and Ty
but not
Jerome's-
maybe not as much as he would have if he had played well in the playoffs.
Ty Jerome is still going to get paid, but
Yeah.
I think that mega deal that maybe the Nets or Utah, or one of those teams that
Out the
actually had
window,
cap
probably.
space,
Yeah.
we're looking at him as maybe this is the point guard of the future for us.
Nope.
We'll find out. And it's part of what made Ty so good this season was the irrational confidence. He's an
Yes.
irrational confidence player, and I say
Yeah.
that as a compliment.
Right. And now
But
it's backfired.
It has completely backfired
Yeah.
on last night and really the first 2 games of the series. And he
Yeah.
was incredible against Miami,
He
by
was.
the way. Like, almost played perfect basketball against Miami.
Yeah.
If you go to some of the shots that he missed last night, and Steve, I cut the highlights if you want to find them at any point. Like, he got a lot of good looks. He just was making shots.
Couldn't make a shot.
And we did the whole story. I did the whole 10-minute interview about floaters.
Yeah.
60% on floaters. The second, he's missing these ones he's made all season.
Yep.
I mean, not all these are great shots, but
Yep. It felt like he was thinking
Like-
about the moment.
yeah,
But
it is what it is.
all right, let's leave it there for now. Earl is particularly somber today because he is the Ty Jerome guy. And he Ty Jerome's been the man all year, and I think Earl is particularly down because Ty Jerome sucked.
No, it a bad game for Ty. Those things happen.
All right, Earl, what you got?